Alright, in this video we're going to look at the oral cavity of our pig here. The first thing I'm going to have to do is make an incision with my dissecting scissors along the pig's jaw. Note that I am using the rounded end of the scissors to go into the pig so as to not do any unnecessary tissue damage. I'm going to make a couple snips. Following the trajectory of the oral cavity so that I don't accidentally cut into tissue that I'm not hoping to cut into. So I'll cut slightly downward and back. Some of that crunching is that I'm not just cutting through tissue, but I am cutting through the pig's jawbone. Alright, so now we're going to get a good look at the inside of our pig. Got my blunted probe here. The first thing we're going to look at is the hard palate. These ridges here at the front of the pig's nose is the pig's hard palate. And behind it, this soft area back here is the pig's soft palate. Soft palate is a fleshy portion on the roof of the pig's mouth, just caudal to the hard palate. So all of this ribbed area here, if you could feel it, you could feel it is decidedly strong tissue. It's not very yielding. Then back here is the soft palate of our pig. Here we see the tongue and all of the taste buds, especially along the side here. It's easier to see these taste buds along the front, but there are tiny taste buds all along this tongue, very much similar to the taste buds that you have in your mouth. Pigs have two types of teeth. They have incisors, which are these sharper front teeth. And then they have what we'll call cheek teeth, what we refer to as molars in humans. And they're the rounded teeth toward the back of the mouth that are used for grinding. You actually can't see these cheek teeth yet on this pig because they haven't popped through, because this pig would not yet have been born at this developmental stage. I'm going to open up this oral cavity just a little further so we can take a look at a few more structures. Cutting through this pig's masseter right now. Masseter is the strong bone, or the strong muscle that you have embedded in your cheek. When you bite your teeth and you feel that muscle flexing, that's your masseter. That is what gives you the chomping ability that we all use when we eat. I'm going to drain the pig just a little bit so you can see back in there. All right, so structures that we're going to note at this point in time. The pharynx. Pharynx is this. Drain the pig just a little bit more. Pharynx is the passageway at the back here that's just below the surface of this liquid. It's a common pathway for food. Let's see. Oh, there we are, just right there. You just see it as it flips up out of that liquid. So pharynx, common passageway for food going to the esophagus and air going to the lungs. So this is sort of one-stop shopping at this point in time. The further back we get, we'll see a distinction. Here's a nice image of it. This is the pig's trachea. This little tube we see right here. This will feed into the pig's lungs. As I'm moving down now, I can move into the pig's lungs if I continue on this trajectory. And this hole further back. Let me just drain it just a little bit more. Great, so. All right, so we have here let's see, this little tear-shaped, boy, it just continually fills up. This little tear-shaped opening at the back here is the glottis. There is a muscle that I have torn through called the epiglottis that covers it. This is what actually leads to the pig's lungs. Then the esophagus is further down past here. The esophagus, of course, leads to the stomach. This epiglottis will cover the opening to the trachea so that when this pig is swallowing, food does not go down into its lungs. Food goes into its esophagus. We have an epiglottis just like this pig has an epiglottis. And if we go look back this way, this opening right here, this is called the nasal pharyngeal opening. This is where air from the nose comes down into the mouth, just like when you breathe in. It passes through your mouth in order to enter the trachea, in order to enter the pig's lungs. So just back up in here, these tubes have now closed off, but it follows just behind the hard palate and then exits here in order to dump into the pig's lungs. So there's our pig and the oral cavity of our pig.